Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right. And now I've reversed it. It's for a short period of time, but we made $2 billion. We're making now $2 billion a day.
Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they've been talking about tariffs for decades. How come when these Democrat elites want tariffs, everything's hunky-dory, but when President Trump wants tariffs, all hell breaks loose? Do you see this double standard?
I love this guy. You know, interestingly, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, Crazy Nancy, they've wanted to do this for years, but they never had a president that had the guts to do it, because it does take guts, believe me.
How far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker? And how much more dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, I will not endorse the status quo?
Look, I think the president's doing the right thing. China has been taking advantage of us for two decades. They're stealing our intellectual property, which means stealing our good-paying jobs. And I, frankly, am closer on this issue, not on many, but on this issue with President Trump than I was with Presidents Bush or Obama, because they did nothing to tell China off. Now, China, of course, will respond. But if they know we're strong and we're not going to back off, they will back off. I'm looking out, number one, for jobs. You know, if General Electric moves jobs to China, they're not unhappy, but my New York workers in Schenectady are unhappy. And so you can't let the international business companies who don't give a hoot about where their factories are govern this. You have to do what's good for the American worker.
Hey, yo, what's goody? Thank you for checking out another episode. I am your host, Wavy. Today, I wanted to take the video over to China, where I was told that America stood no chance with a tariff war, with a trade war, that China would be able to outlast America on all fronts because they are the biggest exporter to the world. And if America wasn't getting it from the Chinese, who would supply them with their products? Because we all know, according to the mainstream media, that Americans are just too lazy and don't want to do the jobs. And if they were hired at these companies, all it would do is drive up the price for Americans. Then I was also told that the price on everyday things, you know, from groceries to cars and everything between, would go up as a result of these tariffs. That's what all of these so-called economists and media anchors and pundits have been speaking about since Trump started announcing tariffs since the campaign trail. And they don't have much time to keep on crying and complaining about the tariffs because we're about to be prospering really soon. All right, we're seeing companies coming back to America. NVIDIA just announced that they'll be coming back to America, along with countless other places. Car manufacturers coming back here. We got steel manufacturers coming back here. Apple said that they, what is it, $500 million or something like that, or $1 billion that they're willing to invest again into America. That means jobs for Americans.
The U.S.-China trade war has kicked off. Just look at these containers piling up on the docks. These are all waiting to be exported. This footage was taken on April 11 by a Douyin user in Zhejiang at a local port. It's not just Zhejiang. In recent days, major export hubs along China's coast, including Guangdong, Shanghai, and even Hong Kong, have seen freight operations come to a near standstill. Ports in these areas are now filled with containers waiting to be shipped. The 145% tariff imposed by the United States on Chinese goods has officially taken effect, triggering severe disruption across China's export supply chain.
Now we're seeing China panicking at the thought of losing the American dollar, because everyone knows that our money is really what makes the world go round. Right? We've seen with all of these government agencies that were sending money all around the world, and on top of that, we buy and consume the most goods from anywhere, including China. And then what China has to remember in this is possibly America is making China the enemy of the world, because everyone else might follow suit like America and say, you know what, we've been getting ripped off by China as well. They've been flooding our markets with cheap, unreliable products, low quality control, but they could pump it out to all of y'all on the Temus and the TikToks. Yeah, that's where most of your products are coming from, China. They sitting right there, right now, in the yard waiting to come over. All these containers that should be making their way to America, but because of the tariffs, they're not.
According to Chinese financial outlet Caixin, at Shanghai's Yangshan and Waigaoqiao ports, many shipments bound for the U.S. were rushed onto vessels in a race to depart before the tariffs were enforced. But after the U.S. announced a 125% tariff, Shanghai's once busy export activity came to a sudden stop within days. By April 10th, almost no cargo ships bound for the U.S. could be seen.
But I thought that the tariffs were only going to affect the U.S. I thought China was still going to be able to do business and they were still going to be prospering, and it was going to be America that hurt. That's what I was told by all of the mainstream media outlets. They told me that this was stupid, that a billionaire businessman like Trump that got his money honestly, because if he got it dishonestly, I'm pretty sure by now somebody would have had him in prison.
Reports say many cargo ships and freight flights between China and the U.S. have been canceled. Containers that missed the shipping deadline are now stuck at dockside storage yards, and many exporters are filing customs return paperwork. It is estimated that about half the shipping capacity on U.S.-China routes will be canceled in the near future.
And I hope that they're all halted until China pays their tariffs, 175%, 150%, whatever it is. They've been beating up on America for too long.
Here's where President Trump and I do agree. We do need to make more stuff in America. More cars and chips, more steel and ships. We do need fair trade. Let's usher in, as President Trump says, a golden age of American manufacturing.
Because our people here were stupid. They were stupid people. Maybe corrupt. I don't know. I don't know how you can be that stupid. How do you get to be president and you're stupid?
Now what we're seeing floating around on social medias is alleged suppliers in China saying that they pretty much make a lot of the big brands, bags, and a lot of the designers that people pay thousands of dollars for. They're producing it in China for next to nothing, sending it over to Europe where they're putting their badging on it, they're putting their logos on it, they're putting the packaging, and then reselling it for thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to Americans who buy the product not knowing that you could have just gone to Canal Street in New York City and gotten the same product.
Have y'all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? Basically, he says most of the luxury brands we use every day are actually made in China, then shipped to Europe just to get rebranded and sold back to us at insane prices. Like a wedding ring that would cost $2 in China somehow turns into a $2,000 ring. China is the world's biggest manufacturing hub. 80% of your Gucci, made in China. 60% of your Prada, also made in China. Even Chanel, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Adidas, Nike, you name it. The only real difference? China ships the products to Europe, slaps on a Made in France or Made in Italy label, and boom. Luxury? It's ridiculous. Well,
is anybody surprised though? We all been getting finessed. All right, everybody paying what, $30,000, $15,000 for a Birkin bag. Everybody buying Gucci. I'm guilty of it too. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of sneakers. I got Jordans that I know, and I've always known for years. We know that they're produced for what, $30 by some Chinese kid, I guess, in some factory with bad working conditions. We've known that allegedly, but we've known that this has been a rumor within at least the sneaker industry for a long time. And then we still get up and we pay $220, $250, $300 for the sneakers for retail. You know, and the same thing is happening here.
While people are out here clowning Shane and Temu for being cheap and low quality, the expensive stuff you think is handcrafted in Paris or Milan, yeah, that's made in China too. So what are you really worried about? Come on, your mega hat? That's made in China too.
Hold on, it is. I'm gonna check that. Nope. Made in the USA. And the original. Made in the USA. And this is the OG. All right, the OG, the classic right here. And again, made in the USA. And I got this is from like 2018. So I'm not sure what he's talking about there. Closing out, tariff for everyone. Tariff the Canadians, tariff the Chinese, tariff the Mexicans, tariff on everyone that's been getting over on Americans. All right, because at the end of the day, those people have been looking out for what's best for their people. And as misguided as some Americans are, you know, they're out here, oh, well, we want to get our stuff from China. We want to get our stuff from Mexico. We don't want our stuff coming from the USA. We don't want Americans having jobs and stuff like that. I just don't get it.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Because the Chinese are looking out for the Chinese. The Mexicans looking out for the Mexicans. The Canadians looking out for the Canadians. Everyone looks out for themselves but Americans. We will be the only people fighting and upset about something in our best interest. But they see what's happening, and they only have a limited amount of time that they could complain, because pretty soon we're going to be winning. All right, we're already winning, but pretty soon people will be feeling it more. And then who knows? April 15th is today, as of the recording of the video. Who knows what they could mention in the next coming days or even weeks pertaining to income tax, federal income tax. Who knows? You know, but then they will still have something to complain about. The media is saying China is good and China will be great, and they're the biggest exporters of the world, and, you know, America, who will America buy from? You know what? I'll buy American. I'll pay a little bit more to make sure that the quality is there. Because how many things do you buy from China, and you really got to shop around with these companies to make sure that you're getting good quality products? All right, other than that, I mean, you have it for less than a year and it's broken. But what are you thinking about these tariffs? Some are reciprocal, some have been reduced, China's has been increased. Do you think that this is, you know, heading us into World War III as we know it? Because China is going to have to respond, because they're going to be losing money. I don't see them just laying down and taking it. They're going to put up a fight. Hopefully they can go to the negotiation table and work out a deal. But too many countries for too long have been ripping off America. Okay, I went from seeing things even as recent as 2016 to 2020. A lot of things said made in America, made in the USA. And then now again, made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Mexico. Maybe it says made in Italy, but now we're learning, even if it says made in France, made in Europe, made in Paris, wherever, it potentially could have been made in China and just rebranded, repackaged, and then sold to Americans for a heavily marked up price. I'm tired of being ripped off. I'm tired of paying my hard-earned, hard-worked-for money for cheap crap that's not going to last long at all. And a lot of them are tired of the cheap crap too. But because it's this administration that's looking to make the change, you have everyone in the media and in between that's saying this isn't in America's best interest. And all of this just continues to show me every single day that the deep state, the swamp, all of that is a real thing. The way that the machine runs the media, the way that they control the narrative, you cannot tell me that there is not a machine that we're seeing in real time slowly be dismantled. And I hope that this administration is able to finish what they set out to do. You know, and let's go with this trade war. Let's go with this tariffs. Tariff on everyone. Tariff on everyone that doesn't want to sell American products in their country at the same tariff rate that we tariff them. Or that they tariff, or you know what I'm saying, reciprocal tariffs for anyone that wants to rip us off, tariff until the word has lost all meaning to them. You know, but either way, I'm interested to know whatever you're thinking in the comments section. Till the next video, please be safe and stay wavy.
Repetition is the father of learning.